Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 bum 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 dun dun dun. How is my I hope
You lost
Nami.
me. You lost me a little bit halfway through there. I couldn't recognize it anymore, and then it kind of came back in the end.
Oh man.
But
Start
it was a glorious attempt.
a
Glory to your house.
glorious glory to my house for attempting. Glory to composer of Prodigy Nami Malamud. I'm sorry, Nami. I say your name wrong. I said it wrong. I know I did. I have to go look at how it's spelled. But anyways, Nami, composer Nami is awesome. She does such a great job, and I forgot to highlight that in the previous discussion. So I just wanted to take a moment and shout out the music. Actually, I don't know if you feel the same way about this. Toddy, but the music in Star Trek, in modern Star Trek, is like, at least in the TV versions, is way better than it has ever been. Like I feel like we have like the highest quality scores coming out of Star Trek these days. It's pretty awesome.
I agree.
Hey Joel. Joel says they never
Except,
stop streaming. I know
except
it's a
the Voyager
marathon.
theme. The Voyager theme is dope.
Yeah, the theme songs. I think Voyager's theme is probably among the
TNG
best.
cheated. They stole it.
Yeah, they just used the motion picture.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Shocking. You didn't talk about the elephant.
Oh yeah, we were gonna talk about the elephant in the last episode, but we'll bring up the elephant at some point. Audience, try to guess what the elephant in this room is. Sorry, so sorry. Touche. Hello, nice to see you. Um, Very cool. So let's get into this episode. Thank you, by the way, audience. We're kind of streaming a little back to back today. We might actually do one more episode because I really want to do the one Aaron Walkie wrote,
Well, that
All the
might not be
World's a Stage.
back to back. That might be a little later, right?
Later today. Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
do that little. We have to eat at some point. We gotta
Gotta
have
take a
lunch.
break.
Gotta take a break. You know, it's true. But today, right now, I mean,
This is
sorry.
hard work.
Yeah. It is hard work actually. It's a lot. You have to watch the episode, you have to like remember what you were thinking at the time, you have to like talk about it in the context, and now we have like more information, so we got to try to be careful and stuff like that. But anyways, we're talking about Let Sleeping Borg Lie, which is a really clever title. I love all the titles this season too. So Toddy, give us a little brief overview of what happens in this episode and tell us what you thought.
I did the last one. That's not fair.
All right, fine. The kids are on the run from the Federation. I'm ready to go. Like,
Punch it.
I'm ready to go. Like, you don't have to convince me. I usually you do, but not today.
I wasn't expecting such a like a promptu start there. Go.
Let's go. The kids are on the run from the Federation after barely getting away from the exploding relay station, and they need to figure out a way to. They're trying to figure out what the living construct is, and they're also trying to figure out a way to disable it or make it render it neutralized. And they're not having a lot of luck. They try. Jankum, of course, tries brute force, doesn't work. They're trying a bunch of things, and then they happen to encounter a dormant kind of Borg ship, like a sleeping Borg ship, and maybe you can shed some light. I know some stuff, but I know this ties into something that Janeway did in Voyager to the Borg, so this kind of like is a follow up to what might be going on with the Borg. But anyways, they encounter this Borg ship, and at first everything's just like the Borg are ignoring them and stuff like that. But eventually, they decide that they need to get to the vinculum. What's it called? The vinculum.
Vinculum.
The vinculum. Thank you. I was like the vinculum, so that they could interface with the Borg collective and find out how to because the Borg are amazing at adapting and then neutral rendering weapons useless. So they get the idea that maybe if they exposed the Borg to the living construct that the Borg could assimilate it or do something to neutralize it. Turns out the Borg are like, we don't. This is not going to do anything bad to us. We don't really care. And then they actually assimilate Zero, and they're trying to assimilate everyone else. But fortunately, Zero breaks through, and his will is very powerful. He's one of my favorite characters. Love what they're doing with the Medusans. Anyways, he breaks through with his will and manages to neutralize the Borg at least temporarily. They get back on the ship and they get away, realizing that there's no way to destroy the living construct. So they'll probably have to figure out another way, which we'll get to later on in this season. But basically, just in a nutshell, they are going to eventually decide to abandon the protostar. So we'll see how that goes. We already know how that goes, but whatever. Anyways, meanwhile on the ship, they're trying to figure out. Janeway's on the hunt. She's trying to put together the clues of what's going on. She's got the diviner, but doesn't know that he's the big bad, like that's behind all this. She's got Essentia, who's giving little hints as to how to revive him, and coming up with like great little suggestions and stuff like that. And then we
She
have
knows so much.
she knows so much. And then we have Janeway also kind of shocked that when she encounters the relay station's remains, that Chakotay, she's like, Chakotay can't possibly be behind this. So now she's like even more afraid about what could be going on with Chakotay if he's no longer in control of Protostar. So there's a lot going on in this episode. Did I do a good job at the episode summary there? Do you think I covered
Yes,
everything? Yeah. All right, cool. So what'd you think?
you're competent, sir.
I'm
You,
competent.
you know your job. I like this episode. There you go. That's it. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, very
Thank you for
cool.
watching.
We only have 20 minutes because Jill's gonna lose interest in 20 minutes because
Oh, because
she's gonna watch USA versus
the
Iran,
football,
the
sir.
football. Yeah, yeah. So we gotta hurry, rush, go. All right. Not liking the Tellarite Doctor at all, but I think that's because of a later episode. Yeah, I think I kind of like him still, but yeah, he's not. He's not. He's kind of gruff. The Borg cubes look so awesome in Prodigy and Picard. I agree. We talked about this when we were watching it together. Um, Picard kind of gave us an update of the Borg technology, but I think this is the real kind of first look we're looking at a more contemporary Borg, and I loved the designs that they come up with. My favorite is the hammerhead grill face guy. Like that's like the one that I love the most. I kind of would love a figure of that Borg. It would be really cool.
Yeah,
But not only that, go ahead.
Star Trek Picard modernized kind of like the vessel, like the ship, the cube. Whereas here we kind of like updated the actual design of the Borg species, like the individuals, right, or the drones. But I think that Prodigy is doing a better job than Picard. I think like the Picard Borg ship felt a little too clean and like proper to me. I think that like there wasn't enough pipes and tubings and just random circuits
Well,
sticking out everywhere. It felt too, you know,
what's interesting is that
walled up.
The Picard Borg cube had like a transformation technology almost like the
Mm,
walls kind of changed, if you will, or could like you got the sensation that it could transform and like you could change the configuration of the ship and stuff like that. Whereas this Borg ship still has like a lot of it still is reminiscent of the pipes and the tubes Borg ship.
yeah,
Like,
there's a
yeah, you're right.
roughness to it that I appreciate.
Hmm.
A more industrial feel to it, I think. Um, but no, but I think like this Prodigy has found a balance between updating it like Picard did and keeping the older. But then it makes sense. Picard takes place after this, so like this is a good balance between the Borg that we saw in Voyager and the Borg that we saw in Picard because it's supposed to be in between.
So catch me up because, and I don't mind spoilers. And just a reminder. Oh, let me put up the little spoiler banner. Just a little reminder that We do talk about spoilers here, but remind me what's the deal with the Borg in Voyager? Like, what does Janeway end up doing to the Borg?
So she kills a Borg queen. Um, basically the same
A
way.
like one incarnation of the Borg Queen, in other
Yes,
words.
like we've seen Picard kill a Borg queen.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I still don't know if it's supposed to be the same Borg queen or if like the Borg queen.
Well, the Borg Queen is a fourth dimensional construct. I feel like she exists
Yes.
simultaneously across all the Borg ships, but also
Yeah.
can exist as one kind of
So I feel
being
like
as well.
sometimes like the physical body, the physical appearance of the Borg queen will change,
But
but it
doesn't she like give
remains.
them a virus or something that renders them
So she
like
does. She gives them a
okay?
virus, but there's multiple things that are happening to the Borg at the same time. There's like this whole Unimatrix thing. I don't know if you've seen Unimatrix Zero, Part One and
Yes,
Two.
that's a good
Uh,
episode
okay,
actually. I like
so
that episode a lot.
we'll see. I don't like it very much because I don't like what goes on in the minds. Like I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff.
Mm.
But there's that going on. So that whole thing is kind of like an infection that the Borg are like dealing with and battling. Like the Borg Queen has to deal with that, and the fact that people are finding a way to retrieve their like uniqueness and their individuality, like inside the alcoves when they're regenerating. But then also like Janeway finds a way to like infect them with like a virus, which is kind of what like Picard wanted to do with Hugh, I think, or like what they hesitated to do in like TNG, right? You're muted. You're muted, sir. You're
Yeah,
muted.
Jean Luc was hoping to introduce a pattern that would make them just go into like this crazy loop of processing where
Yeah.
it would render them useless.
She doesn't kill the Borg though. Like I think the best way to put it is like she would deal like a devastating blow to them. Perhaps she slowed them down, something like that. But she didn't like. Evidently, she doesn't kill them because we see them in like Picard. But but yeah, like that's
And
it.
well, we see them here too. So
This particular Borg cube, I don't think is like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't think it ties into like what Janeway did or what like in any way. I just think that the Borg have dormant cubes everywhere. I just think that like they sent this Borg, like I imagine the Borg just sending out cubes to like find things, assimilate things, retrieve things, whatever. And then all of a sudden, if this cube has been traveling in space for a while, there's nothing around. They're just like, okay, let's stop investing resources in it, turn it off, leave it be. And if something crosses its path at some point, then yeah, maybe we can wake it up and see what's going on.
that's interesting that it's that fits with the Borg, like right? They're all about like efficiency and like stuff like that. So that kind of makes sense. I wondered if this wasn't the same or couldn't be the same Borg cube that eventually ends up being the artifact
No,
in Picard because they wake it up, they introduce the living consciousness concept to it. I mean, the living
I think
construct.
the odds of that
Oh yeah,
uh,
you're right. Yeah,
are
that's true. Good
improbable.
point.
Like the amount of Borg cubes that are out there, and like the space that there is in space, I don't think it would be the same one. It also doesn't look the same. They'd have to update this.
It does look the same on the exterior. It has the new kind of. It has like the
Yeah, but like the inside
partial.
panelings, like it's
No,
not.
but those things can upgrade over
I guess they
time.
can
Like
upgrade.
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
they
it's
can
true.
upgrade, but then they could have kind of like abandoned the sort. I don't know. Abandon is a bad word. I don't. I just think that there were. I think there were Borg ships, cubes, random shapes, whatever it is, just floating around, just there. In case they want to attack this place, they can all fly, or like, if it wakes up and finds a species that it enjoys, like there's a friggin'
It enjoys.
it enjoys. There's a species. There's a what's he called?
We were
What's he
going
called?
to assimilate you, but we enjoy you too much.
What is it? No, he's not. What is he?
Who?
A Medusan.
Oh
Um.
yeah, Medusa.
A
Zero. Yeah.
Medusan's a win. Assimilate a Medusan. Clearly, that's a net win, right? I don't know about Jankum, but like, oh, I'm sorry.
How could you assimilate a Medusan? I often wondered
Well, they
that,
did
but
it.
I guess they did it. Yeah, well, for like the briefest of moments, and then Zero was able to shake that
I
off
love
as
how he
quickly
goes
as he
green.
was able to
I love how
shake.
they go green though, right?
Yeah, it's true, and he was able to shake off his Borg implants, as you pointed out, pretty quickly too, like which was pretty funny.
Yeah, they were fake
Um,
implants. They were just for like show.
like yeah, it is interesting what happens to Zero. I guess he really just succumbs to the mental part of it, which I guess we get a hint of from the Borg Queen. So there is a kind of assimilation of the mind that occurs because she kind of ejects you with happy, calm, like, like feelings, or like that's when they can assimilate you best, is when you're
I
like at like
legitimately
a.
believe there's an attraction to the concept of like um the hive mind, right? Like I feel like when you experience the hive, um it kind of drugs you almost, like you want to stay with it. You
Hmm.
want to like keep that experience going on. I think that's kind of the PTSD that Picard experiences, right?
And seven basically
Seven, yeah.
too, yeah, and stuff like that.
And
Dom says one of the
various
create
people we meet along Voyage's run.
right. Dom says one of the creators said it could be the same Borg cube. Aha,
Yeah, I mean, it
see,
could. I mean, it could, right?
I think it
Like,
is.
there's like
I think it
one
is.
chance in 17,000 billion gazillion that it could, but it could.
Zero has already found his collective awe. And by the way, I just want to say that I have also found my collective. So thank you for those of you who are here to share, or our hive. Toddy's been promoting the hive, so we found our hive as well. So thanks for being here. Um, what did you think of the? So one of the things that I really liked about this episode when it aired was the actual different Borg designs. I think to me it was so cool to see, like I pointed him out to you, the hammerhead, Borg, but also there was just like newer kind of updates to the designs. What were you saying, like that they seemed a bit like runway models to you,
This is not
or
me, but this is
oh,
Paul.
it's our friend Paul. Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
tweeted that like they were all very fashionable. You know, they all had like very like I guess extravagant kind of fashionista designs. But I agree, I agree with the sentiment. Um,
I'm so glad Dom Paris is in the audience because he's shedding light on what you said, but like in a more
in a more professional and better way.
better
He's
way.
better. All right,
He's a
I'll see you
little bit
later.
better. No, no, totally. I mean, Dom's better than all of us, okay? But anyways, Dom says this Borg cube was dormant because of the neurolytic pathogen. That's what I was trying to remember. Woken up by the kids and then went on to assimilate the wrong Ryman ship since it's nearby at least. See? And it fits because they're near the neutrals. Like they're kind of on this like path toward. Yeah, it actually all fits. It fits really nicely because this is. Remember, we're back in the Federation. We're back in Federation space. This Borg cube might be somewhere on the edge of that, right? Like somewhere near the relay station, which we know is like the last, like it's the furthest out on Federation space. We know later on they actually end up in the neutral zone. So it all kind of is the local area, right? Like the same sector, anyways. We can agree. What are you looking up? What is that? What is that face? I pointed out the rhino species too. Trek on the Tube was not impressed with the rhino Borg, right? Trek on the Tube. What? He's like in a serious mode of some kind. What are you trying
Okay,
to do?
okay. Can I do that?
Yeah, do your thing. What are you trying to do here? What are you trying to show us?
Boom.
All right, here we go. Oh, nice. We got a map. This is rare. We don't do this often.
Okay, so if you look
By
up
the
in here,
way, can we give credit? Is this Larry Nemechek's thing?
I would think so.
Okay, cool.
Um,
So credit to Larry Nemechek. Thanks for putting out
but yeah,
the
like
star charts.
um, for the Romulan Star Empire is here, but basically like
Notice
this
how.
This is alpha
Notice how.
quadrant, this side, and this is beta quadrant, this side.
Yeah.
Okay?
Are you
Okay.
sure?
Yes.
Are you?
This
I think
line,
beta. I
no.
think beta. Oh, sorry. The line must be drawn here.
This is
Oh, there's Earth.
along
Nice.
the
It's
line.
like okay.
And so this is alpha, and this is beta,
All right.
because the Klingons are in the beta quadrant, I
Okay,
think.
got it. I don't think so, but
You
whatever.
think so? You think it's the other way around?
I think
No,
so.
look, A, B,
Oh, never mind.
alpha, beta. Come on, learn.
Okay.
See, I know these things.
Learn.
But so what I wanted to point out, what I wanted to explain, the reason why I was
Yes.
is because the Federation space, which is all the blue, extends around Romulan Star Empire,
Yes, that's true. They're kind of
which means
squeezed in,
you
which the
don't
Romulans
have
probably
to
hate.
you don't have to come through the Romulan Empire to get to Federation space when you're coming up from the Delta Quadrant, which is up there. The Delta Quadrant is up that way.
Isn't the Delta Quadrant to the
No, this is
left?
Gamma Quadrant is this one.
Oh.
The Gamma Quadrant is above the Cardassian thing.
Zoom into that bit on the right that shows the whole
This
galaxy. Yeah, zoom into that
I
for
don't think it
fun.
shows exactly.
So wait, on the left is the Gamma Quadrant, and on the right is top right is Delta Quadrant. I've had it mixed up this whole time. That's so weird. This like all like. So,
Okay,
oh, what are you
okay,
doing?
okay. Calm
Where
down.
you go?
Okay,
What do you have all these things? Don't go into the wrong folder.
no.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so all right, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. It's written there.
Okay, great.
Dominion
Thanks.
space.
Yes.
There.
Yes, I see it now. I
This
see
is
it
the
now.
USS Voyager with the Borg space.
Yes.
Romulan Star Empire. So like you have to go through all of this beta quadrant, but then you can still
I
go
feel
around
like
the
this I
Romulan.
feel like this map that you're showing right at this moment
Hmm.
is not the same as the other map.
Well, with the other map, I was showing you just this.
But I thought this area, the one that you're highlighting, is closer to the. Oh, you're right. It's not. Never
Yeah,
mind.
it's just
Yeah, you're
this.
right. Yeah,
See,
you're right.
I
All
can go
right,
back to the
good.
other one
This
if
was a
you want.
good. This is a good
See,
schooling
this is
for
just
Star Trek
this.
Boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it now. I see it. I see it. Look
Anyway,
how big
so
the neutral. Look how big the neutral zone is. It's
it's
huge.
massive. It's
It's
huge.
it's super massive.
It's also very like it's wide. You know what I mean, it must be
So
high because
there.
it's three-dimensional, right?
So let's take a look and see. Let's see if anyone in the audience has chimed in on it. Tom Paris. It's the same map. Like, yes, I know. I'm sorry. I'm.
Don Paris knows his maps, all right.
I feel like those
Don't
people
challenge
that
me
when
on this.
I feel like those people like when you ask them where what the capital of Florida is, they say California. It's like or like what's the capital of Italy? France. Like I feel like one of those people.
So I do feel like that I feel like the Romulans have been fighting off the Borg for longer than like Federation, for example, though. Like I
Mm.
feel like if the Romulan had been exploring outward and upward, closer to like the Delta Quadrant, then they would have been experiencing more kind of like Borg encounters, right?
So yeah, so it begs. Where are the Protostar crew at the point of discovering the Borg cube? I'm gonna guess they're somewhere up in that north, that north
Well,
eastern
this is too
kind of
close.
area. Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah, you need this map basically, right? Like because that one's too close. But like they were supposed to be around here because they're in the Delta Quadrant, but they're like closer to the Beta Quadrant. They're closer to home, is
Yeah, but
from what I
okay.
understand.
Remember last episode they were in Federation at the edge of Federation space. So if you go back to that,
Okay, so yeah,
Romulan,
I think by now they've crossed out of the Delta Quadrant. By now they must be closer to this. Yeah, okay.
they actually
That would be
were at.
a lot of traveling very quickly.
See that
But
red dot. all the way at the corner of the blue, all the way up there,
This
the blue
thing?
space. Yeah, yeah, that's probably around where they
No, no,
were.
no.
Like, oh, Starbase One. Look, Starbase 185 could be near the relay station. The relay station could be anywhere near these edges, don't you think?
I think
Because
it's
look,
further
then.
out. I honestly think it's like way further out up there.
Mm,
I think they're not that close yet. Because by this point, you would have like this blue thing to me implies that there are like active vessels pretty much everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it would be too late if they got to here, and they would have spread their little disease thing. Like it would have already fried everything. I think they're
no,
way
because
out.
I think it's because the station didn't communicate with anyone else yet. You know what I mean? The
Mm.
relay station. So it didn't have a chance. The virus didn't have a chance to like upload to another system. So, anyways, by episode 15, we're all the way down by the neutral zone. So it could be the edge of the neutral zone right there, where you see the what is that number there?
This thing here.
20. Yeah, I think they're around there now by the edge. Episode 15.
Okay, so they could be around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be around here. You could be correct. You could be correct.
Thank you.
I'll
The
give you that.
Dom says Romulan has had reports of Borg before Feds met the Borg. That's true.
Mm.
Hence why the Hansons went off to investigate Borg before Enterprise D met the Borg. Ah.
Oh, and
And
then
then
he
I.
says, "See,
we're using poor Dom Paris as
you
our
see,
like who's
you know,
right. I'm right. No, you're right.
it's out here somewhere. It's way up there. Leave it alone."
Regardless, we're in this area. We're in the
They do get
general.
to the neutral zone. I will say though, this map maybe the neutral zone had been updated to be like all up here now, right?
Oh
You know what I
yeah, that
mean?
could be. Yeah, like maybe some of these other parts. Yeah,
Maybe
yeah, it's
maybe this
possible.
has all been taken back by the Star Empire, and so the neutral zone does this, something like this now. We don't know. We don't know. Do you know? You don't know.
You know what would be cool if Star Trek.com had like a map that
Oh
you
my
could click on.
goodness. Uh,
What is that? What did I just
the
trigger?
goddamn Star Trek website needs to have an interactive map. Okay, not only does it need to have a current map of what's going on in Star Trek at the moment, but you also need to be able to click on the century, the era, so that it updates it, and boom, it shows you this is what it looked like in the 23rd, this is what it looks
Right.
like in the
That's what I
25th,
want to see.
this is what
Yeah,
it looks
yeah.
like in the 32nd, and then you need to be able to go, it's like, oh, okay, well look, this is the Badlands, okay, or like whatever. You need to click on something, and then you click on whatever bloody planet you want to click on. Where's bloody Teleprime and shit? Okay, it's not too far. Everything's
We've
close.
triggered we triggered Toddy.
Anyway,
But
you click on Earth, and then it shows you a picture of Earth. You know what I mean?
you know what it would be really cool too is if like
I
I
don't
go
understand
on.
why you're not doing this. The social media and the online presence for Star Trek is catastrophic. Fix it. Do something. There it is.
I
There.
I would what is Andoria, there you go. And Sirius. What I would also like is
Vulcan.
like
Click on it. Shows you Vulcan.
I would also like where you could say track protostar and see like
Yes. You
a
need to
little
have
thing.
you need to have a little path that shows you the return of Voyager, that shows you the various travels that they did in Deep Space Nine when they went out to like the Gamma Quadrant. They need to show you the protostar. Yes, absolutely.
It's true.
It's ridiculous that this doesn't exist. I don't understand why it doesn't
Well,
exist.
I think part of why it doesn't
I would
exist.
actually pay for that.
But you would pay for that. Great. Now they know you would pay for that. Dom says social media has done better recently, but their website does need such features.
Stop with all of the rest of your bullshit, Viacom CBS. We don't care about any of the other shows. None of them are interesting.
Wow.
Just do a Star Trek streaming service and include this kind of content.
Um, and then Joel says they track Santa better every year than the Protostar. It's like a thing. Oh my gosh, the Protostar should deliver presents. That's what the kids should start doing, is just delivering presents all across the galaxy. Um, but this is,
Look,
see, the
look,
thing is what is
you click on the black
Brakar?
patch.
Oh, Briar.
Baku.
I thought it said
Baku.
Brakar. The Baku. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's the Briar patch. You should be able to watch Star Trek Insurrection when you click. You should just be able to watch like little clips from everything. No, I think that's a great idea. Toddy, you should work on that with
I know, but they just don't hire me. I don't understand.
It's tone. It's the tone. But anyway, but anyway, they just have to get used to your. When you get mad, you're not mad at Paramount. You're just mad. But you're like,
I'm frustrated.
frustrated.
I'm frustrated because I care.
No, I know,
And
I know.
it is beyond my comprehension as to why it's not done better. I don't understand. I'm like, I care about this. I like it. Other people care. Other people like it. People would work on this for free. They would literally have hundreds of people that would work on making this what we talked about for free if they would do it. If they crowdfunded remastering like the shows in HD, people would do it. People would just give money to have it remastered in HD. They don't even need to pay for anything themselves.
Ooh, look at this. Aaron says, thank you, Aaron Walkie, again for chiming in. We use the stellar cartography maps edited by Larry Nemechek, which I believe we have up on the screen right now, to move the protostar around with a little sticky and follow its journey. Perhaps we'll share the map when the season is over. Yes,
in my fictional mind, in my invented mind, where I'm the boss of Star Trek, I'm the Testament. I have a map on the wall painted where I'm moving my little pins around for like the ships and what I'm doing stuff. I look like a crazy.
I know, that's why I put you full screen. I'm sorry. Go on, carry on.
That's what I do. I have like these little pins where I'm like, oh yeah, this is what's going on. I also have like timelines.
What the hell is this?
Timelines of all the various.
You look like the conspiracy theory person from those memes. Let me see your timelines again. Can you show us the timelines?
And it's beyond my comprehension as to why people aren't doing these kind of things when they're working on Star Trek. I'm like, if you work on Star Trek,
they do it. Aaron Walkie just.
I respect you, Aaron. I respect everyone so much.
They do it.
Because I have all of these things that connect to each other.
And he keeps them like right next to him, which is the wild part too. Which is they're like right next to you when you're streaming. The only reason
why they're not blown up and put on the wall, like Aaron says, is because I don't own the bloody building.
Oh my goodness!
Anyway,
I hope everyone enjoyed that segment. The Toddy rant segment.
I find it fantastic that they're actually doing that. It adds, like, it's not necessary. Of course, I'm not saying you have to do this to make your show good. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. But it does add a certain like level of like investment, coherence, consistency to it all. So Aaron, where are they?
Dang.
Where are they? No, I think they're a little further up. We've stopped sharing my screen here, but I think they're a little further up than what we were saying.
Yes. All right. So wait, can just so that. All right, moving on. Jill Touche says
stream multiple times in the same day because then it degenerates.
No, we're gonna have a lunch and we'll come back later because we're gonna do Aaron's episode next, which I'm really excited about. But it'll be a little later. Why wait till the end? We need this for Christmas. Yeah, like why wait till the end? We need this for Christmas, Aaron. Okay, Aaron says Beta Quadrant, top of the neutral zone, facing the Delta Quadrant. You ready? I'm gonna pull your map up again, Toddy, so you can. Go ahead. So, top of the neutral zone, facing the Delta Quadrant. There. Can you zoom in on that, please? There you go. Right there.
Oh, that's pretty much where we said it.
That's what we get.
Around here somewhere.
Thank you, Aaron, for
maybe Science Station D5 will be featured in the show.
Maybe.
I want to go to Deep Space 4. Can we go to Deep Space 4, please?
All joking aside, your map idea, StarTrek.com, please listen. That's a great idea. I hope we do. I hope we do it. That would be cool. So, all right. So, what else do we have to talk about this episode? We get some. Did we already talk about the developments on
I
the?
don't think we talked about anything, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, we went on that map tangent there. Jill,
No, they
wait.
they,
Just be
they
patient. It's gonna come out soon. They're gonna release the whole thing.
they
It's funny.
try to figure out if like the Borg can help them with the living construct, and the Borg cannot. The Borg doesn't give a shit.
Actually, they don't give a crap. Yeah, they're just like
Yeah.
we don't care yet.
Um. So that doesn't work. And then I guess we have like a few scenes going on with like Janeway and the
Oh
Diviner.
yeah, thanks for reminding me. What was your feeling when you saw Janeway ordering that tea? Like, look so sad and pathetic, like that she has to order tea instead of her coffee. Like, how did you feel about that scene? Are you a
Do
coffee drinker, by the way?
tea black?
Yeah, she's
Um.
like tea, but she's like tea black. Like she's so defeated. Like she has to have this tea instead of coffee. By the way, is that
Uh.
something that happens as we get older? Can do we have to stop drinking coffee? Because like I don't know if I can handle it.
Um. Perhaps because I mean Picard's he's ordering like his decaf now. What isn't that like? He's taking his tea
Oh
decaffeinated.
yeah, yeah. He's doing decaf. Like I don't want to give up Well, I guess I could give up caffeine.
No, I think that you like in Starfleet you should be able to have a substitute.
Yeah, but anyways, joking
Synthetase.
aside, joking aside, it is a neat way to show that a character has aged, right? Like that there's like time and things have changed and like they're doing things a little bit
I
differently.
half expect her to be jealous of Holo Janeway and then just be like, "Screw it, I'm gonna have my coffee." You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
But she,
right. Hollow Janeway's just like down in those coffees,
she
like
could
there's
she
no
could at
tomorrow.
least I would at least try and compensate and try to drink my tea in my classic coffee mug. You know what I mean? At least try to fool your brain into thinking that it's coffee.
Jill points out caffeine will lead to insomnia more. Oh, I wonder if my
Mm.
mom's going through that. Oh, in older age, I already don't have any caffeine after 10 a.m. That's a really good point. And then Aaron saying also caffeine withdrawal put the vice admiral on edge. Mm.
Yeah, that would make sense too. So you're gonna have to stop drinking that coffee now that you're like 73 years old, Starfleet boy.
I know, and I have to figure out another name other than Starfleet Boy too because it's getting old.
It's
Uh,
decaffeinated boy.
I thought about Starfleet Prance, like Prince but with an A. Starfleet Prance. No, doesn't sound good for a new handle.
Hey, look, you gotta
Audi-
ask your fans there. You
okay,
gotta ask the
audience.
people.
Starfleet Prance, Prince, Starfleet Prince,
These
Starfleet.
tangents are ridiculous
I
now.
don't
It's
know.
getting out of hand.
It is out of hand. So on.
Okay, so no, when we
We were
reskinned
watching
the
it together, yeah.
together, you noticed that so like okay, so the bedside manner of the
Of the doctor
of the
aside.
doctor here, you noticed you pointed out that you think Janeway already suspects
I don't know that
something
she.
that hasn't happened yet, and that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
like I wasn't expecting anything like that. You know what I
I
mean?
Yeah. So Essentia is coming. Like she makes that Doctor Gnome. Yeah. Um. By the way, I'm really impressed that Jason Alexander's ability to throw his voice like that. Like I
Mm.
would not know that that's Jason Alexander.
Oh man.
Also, you know who else does a good job at it is Jerry O'Connell because Ransom sounds not like a lot like. Actually, all these voice actors do a good job, but like Doctor Gnome sounds not like Jason Alexander. I think that's impressive that he can do that with his voice. It's
Oh,
pretty
and
cool.
shout out to the Diviner.
And
Right?
oh yeah, we got to talk about John Noble is like a big deal too. Yeah, it's true. But going back to that scene, yeah, I did point out that so Janeway makes that comment to Essentia where it's like, what does she say? Like you've got all the good ideas or something like that. And I
Something
wondered
like
if
that.
Janeway isn't like wondering. At least she's wondering like, oh, where are they getting this? Like, where's she getting all these ideas from? Like, or it's like really, it's really interesting that she knows so much, or she's guessing right, I guess.
Mm.
Um,
No, I don't think so. I think that she's just because like at this point, this little Trill, like she's the little, I guess she's the younger officer. She's the paper little younger officer, right? So I think that Jenny was just encouraging her. Yeah, I read that. Dr. Noom was paying us a compliment by ragging on her, culturally speaking. I suppose we should have reminded people of that in that scene. I don't think you guys needed to remind people, but I do think that because I've seen a few comments online saying that the Tellarite doctor is disagreeable, but I think I think that reflects how people would be in Starfleet. I think sometimes people would forget, that like Tellarites, that's how they are culturally speaking, and people would be like, what a douche. But oh no,
Well,
that's right.
well, yeah, and
No,
I
that's
think
how he
it's
is. That's how they speak.
I actually think it's great that you guys are not kind of explaining that kind of stuff either, because like I personally had like, it's cool to see how far. It's a great discussion point, I think, with anyone, but especially I think with younger folks, to just talk about like what is like, why does that sit wrong with you, or why does that come across
Mm.
like, like it's a good. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great to see more of that. I know I myself in the episode Crossroads, I believe, was a little bit taken aback by how like much he was talking to Jankum. Like I thought like maybe he pushed the lines, but again, culturally for them that might be just normal,
Yeah, see, that's different.
stuff like
That's
that
two
thing. Yeah,
Tellarites talking to each other. So, like,
right.
maybe he's
But
just
even
not holding back as much.
but even still, I don't know how true it is. I don't remember ever. I'm Pakistani, so I don't think it's true in our culture. But in some cultures, it's like a compliment if you burp at the table, for example. I've heard that growing up, right? And so if you don't know that it's a compliment, and in your culture it's rude, you're just gonna think it's rude. So it is neat to open your mind up a little. When I first discovered that idea of like, oh, sometimes it's actually a compliment if someone does something that you think is rude, that like changed my perspective a lot, like in terms of being more kind of inquisitive and perhaps tolerant of like, rude behavior, if you what I would consider as rude behavior. And it's
You
helped me a
know,
lot, in life in general.
personal boundaries and like social, what is considered like the social norm of like accepted distances between people, I find interesting because it varies immensely depending on which country you're in. Having grown up in New Zealand, people stand pretty far away from each other. Get to France, like south of France, people literally touch you. Like, I've known people that had fat bellies, that their fat belly would touch me when they spoke. You know what I mean? Because they're
Oh, like they're just close
that close.
talkers.
Yeah,
Okay.
like people are really close. And if the guy's a little overweight, then you know, it's touching you. And it's like, so you can get offended, you can get whatever. But just culturally speaking, we're all very, very different. I find that people in Canada, they're a little further away again. But like
Right
it's
on.
just it's gonna depend. And then and we're talking about the same species here. We're all human, right? Imagine in space, in this future here, where like all of these races are completely different, all these species are completely different, they've evolved in completely different ways. Yeah, it's even a wonder to like even imagine how like a federation could exist.
Universal translators help a lot.
Yeah, I guess it would.
Because I think the universal translator at least can bridge part of that gap, and like allow people to explain themselves. Also, what happened? Dave, are you laughing at the same thing I
Yeah,
am? Yeah, I want him to be Dave the Diviner as well.
Dave the
Like, I think that's
Diviner.
Dave the Diviner. I think that's pretty awesome. I'm just gonna start calling the Diviner Dave. Cake is pointing out if an Irish person razzes you, it's high compliment too. Fred the Diviner is another good one. Aaron says in Enterprise they show that the more insulting or rude you are, it becomes a
Yeah,
sort of game to see how well you can dish and take it. That leads to a mutual respect. There's a great scene with Archer on that. Oh, I gotta go
I
back
was
and
I was
check that
I
out.
was going to point that out before I went on my tangent. I was going to point that out. I was going to say in Enterprise they make a point of that exactly. And when they're doing like negotiations between there's like Andorian people, there's Tellarites, there's Vulcans, there's like a whole bunch of people. Um like Archer handles it very well, and he insults the guy back. He like basically insults the guy back. You know what I mean? Like there's something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think the Tellarite tells Archer like your ship is too small. I was expecting bigger for like like the wondrous enterprise, right? And he's like, it looks like trash, basically. And then Archer, like, he handles it like a boss, and he tells them like, well, like, it's a shit ship for like shit guests. Like, look at you, or something like that. I forget what he tells them.
Yeah.
And then the guy is like, he loves it. You know what I mean? So that's just how Tellarites are. I like these guys so much.
We should give each other permission to be like Tellarites and talk to each other that way on a live stream and see who
keep
can
on telling me that I'm absolute candor.
Yeah, it's kind of like an absolute candor kind of thing too. You have a bit of the absolute candor thing. Dom points out the line, "Your ship is small and unimpressive."
Oh, there we go. And I can say the same about you.
I can say the same about you. That's really funny.
It's really
good. Which is essentially what Dr. Gnome says to Jankum in Crossroads. It's like, you runt, the Pog name. That's going to be interesting to find out about the Pog thing too.
In this episode, I feel like he's pretty light on it. Like, he's a little kind of like, because Janeway's like, wake him up, or whatever it is. Can I talk to him? And he's like, oh yeah, wake him up. I can't wake him up. He's barely alive. It's like a wonder that I'm able to keep, like, I'm a miracle worker because I'm keeping him alive already. Like,
except our friend Essentia knows what's up. She definitely gives the good suggestions.
He's a genius.
So the we already talked a little bit about the episode ending where they come upon the relay station, but overall just another solid episode of Prodigy. Again, we talked a lot about it in the weeks prior, but it was nice to catch up and hear your thoughts here, Toddy. Oh, Dom's got a question. I wonder what the serum is. Like the serum that is in the diviner's suit? That serum, right? I think that's what Dom's talking about. It's from we'll find it. It's coffee. I like that, Joel. Thank you. It's super coffee. But whatever it is, it rehabilitates him and apparently can cure you of the ill effects.
No, when you say we talked about the relay station, what you're talking about is like how they Janeway stumbles across the destroyed relay station at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
I'm mentioning, yeah,
absolutely.
Like the final scenes is where they come across this thing, and like she has legit worry and like sadness in her eyes.
Oh,
like,
I love that too. Oh, we
couldn't have done this. It's like, what the hell's going on?
The expressions on the faces of the characters are so good.
We want to talk about the lip quivers.
Well, yeah, there's like lip quivering. There's like very like good micro expression. Like you really do. Like I feel like the animation is getting better and better. Even I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if you guys lock down the style, but it feels like there's better shading, or maybe I'm just getting used to it and like noticing these details more. But it's beautiful work. So, Aaron, if you don't mind passing along our compliments to the rest of the team, that would be awesome.
This second, and maybe like you said, maybe we're with this placebo. I don't know. Maybe like it's just psychologically we think so, but we think. I speak for you two here. We think that the animation has improved in this second half.
It feels like it's better, but I don't know. I have to go back and really compare the two halves. But yeah, it feels like there's stuff. Aaron's pointing out that the stuff is Vonnegut life juice is what Dom called it. And Aaron says a life-sustaining bioserum, of course, not required to be alive, but definitely gives him strength and extends his life, sort of like steroid shots in old age, I suppose. Oh, another thing I have to start getting, I guess, is steroid shots. Great.
Oh yeah, of course. Naturally, right?
Well, I do know your body starts processing vitamins and stuff differently, so you got to like make sure you get your daily vitamin. Oh my gosh, what is this stream turning into?
You gotta eat your vegetables, man.
You gotta eat your veggies. It's true. You gotta do all. Now I gotta go eat my veggies. Thanks, Toddy. Well, anyways, I'm gonna give this episode a 9.9999.
Just to not give it a 10.
Just to not give. No, I give it a 10. I give it a 10.
Oh my goodness.
What about you? Let's hear your rating, Tony. It's more varied than mine. Like, I just give 10s across the board.
I think I like this episode a little more than the previous one. I'm not a big fan of like when we enter the mind and what have you. So I wasn't that much of a fan, but that's a personal thing. Like I'm not that invested in like
Oh,
when go
that's
ahead.
just. I'm
Zero?
sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, Zero was my favorite part of the episode. I really vibed. Like I know you didn't like that part, but I really vibed with all that, and I think I pointed that earlier really fast, but like I just loved how he used his like will and like his love of his friends and like just to realize that he's already a part of a collective and he was able to overcome the
Mm,
Borg influence with that was really awesome, which I think is kind of like the message of everyone who's resisted the Borg, like
yeah.
essentially. So I think that's pretty cool.
So yes, I second that. I think that like that is fantastic. The conclusion to that and like his escape from like their escape, sorry, from like the collective is fantastic. I liked when Zero became Borg. I think it was really cool. And the goddamn voice acting, like he's killing it. He's absolutely nailing it. Like he like the voice acting, generally speaking, I think everyone is outstanding on the
Yeah,
show. But
yeah, they all bring something really
what's it?
special, like
Emery? How do you pronounce it?
Angus Imrie, I believe is the name
Emery?
of the actor.
I
Yeah,
think it is. I don't know how to pronounce
yeah.
it, but he's like he's my MVP for this season. Kind of like how what's his name is the MVP for me, Rutherford.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
Zero. Oh, my light died. That's okay.
Anyway,
Uh,
yeah, no. So, but no, good episode. I enjoyed seeing the Borg. I do think that they were scary, but they were kind of it was still appropriate enough for children. Like they weren't. I think there have been diviner scenes that have been much more like kind of scary and terrifying than like what we got from the Borg.
but
Um,
hey, how about that? Like, I've been thinking, I've been kind of thinking like, oh, the Borg might be like, they might need a rest. They're not as scary anymore. But I felt like they actually brought back the tension and the fear in this episode. The Borg kind of freaked me out in this episode, especially those new designs.
Yeah, well, the fact that they kept them, slow as we were talking about, like they kept them slow, like they were in like
Right.
TNG, and then
Like they're
just
not in any rush, but they
they're
are
not in
still
any
menacing.
rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so
Aaron
I
says,
would,
just like in Picard in Best of Both Worlds, when he wills his way out of a simulation to tell Data how to put the Borg to sleep. Yeah, it's a good thing those uh, those Borg pleasure hormones don't work on Jean-Luc. He's wired a little.
it's interesting. It's interesting that it has become a theme over all of Star Trek now. That like the idea of having your own collective, the idea of having like a support group or like a family or something, can actually help you will your way out of like the collective and assimilation. And I actually think that it would be interesting if they ever make that Starfleet Academy show. It would be interesting to show us that they get lessons
Training,
and training
yeah.
in that. In like you need to really emotionally support your friends and make everyone feel a part of the family so that in these kind of situations, as abstract as it may seem, you can will yourself out of the collective. I think that would be like an interesting topic to address.
Yeah, it's really rad. Great. Great call there.
Anyway,
Ooh.
7.5, I would give this.
Nice. That's a good rating.
What do
Solid.
you think? What do you think about that? You good? All
Solid
right.
episode. We're good. We're good. All right, Toddy. I have taken a lot of your time, and I plan to take a little bit more, but we're gonna go take a break. And look, you got a nice compliment there.
Is it the rating? Did they enjoy Are they
No,
enjoying
like
the rating?
a
Oh, the
great
idea.
point. Yeah. And
Oh.
actually, just to kind of like, there is real world evidence of this, a form of kind of if you can relate I like that they introduced this idea of relating the Borg to like kind of drug addiction in a way, with the way they expanded on the idea of how the Borg assimilate you, or at least how the Queen does
Mm.
in Star Trek Picard, because it's been proven that people who are struggling with drugs have more success getting out of that situation and rehabilitating if they have a strong support group and community or a collective, if you will. So that's pretty awesome, and it tracks, and I love that that's a message that's inside of Star Trek.
Yeah,
That's pretty
absolutely.
cool.
Positivity, like if there's someone that you know that has trouble with like substance or alcohol, like shaming them out of it is not going to work. It just
Right.
won't. You need to support them and be positive about it. Like you can't. Yeah. So
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, what's the next episode? Is it Aaron's episode? I think it is, right? All the World's a Stage, episode 13.
yeah,
Is
he
it?
can't.
Yeah.
If we do this, we're gonna do this discussion later, Aaron. You can't be watching it because it'll feel like we're just shilling you. It
No.
doesn't work. I can't,
Well,
it won't feel genuine if I'm complimenting this thing and you're here.
we'll try to reconvene in like
No, I'm
we'll
kidding.
try to
Kidding.
reconvene here in an hour to discuss that episode.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, you guys can watch the replay. You don't have to be in the live audience, but if you are in the live audience, we'll see you there.
Are you streaming in 10 minutes again? He says, no,
No,
in 1
no,
hour.
no.
In
In
about
like
an
an
hour.
hour. It's like in about an hour. Look. And then Toddy, I'm almost all caught up. I love you. Thank you for doing this with me. I really appreciate you.
And honestly, I think the next episode, I'm very happy we're talking about that one because it's one of my favorite this season.
Yeah. Yeah. And also Aaron did point out, and you did a lovely tweet also, by the way, about this. Aaron says, I will take all the compliments, but they should be shared by the writer's room. And that's 100% true.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no,
yeah,
absolutely. It is very much a team effort. It's just that, sometimes I look at the name because it says written
on the
by.
credits. Yeah.
Yeah. You all get one episode each, basically, right?
And Aaron says we all had a hand in that episode. You're a good showrunner. I like you. And Dom will try to return in an hour, and Toddy talking to Aaron like a teller. Right? Your writing sucks. I've written better things with spaghetti alphabets than you did. No, just that's a terrible Telluride impression. Anyways, live long and prosper, folks, and we'll see you in about an hour. See